Howdy there. So here's a question for Calvinists. This is for like twitchy theologian, rogue Calvinist, CJ in the synagogue. Carlton, Colton Carlson, Chris Date, Israel Trujillo. Here's a question. Okay. I think you can, if you're a classical theist, and I think you can affirm, I used to affirm this, I might still affirm it, that God ordains all things which come to pass. If by that you allow for things like permission to be foreseen by God, things that he doesn't determine. So ordain is open to being a full determinist or not. And actually, you know what? A large portion of Reformed theology did not affirm limited atonement. And they shouldn't affirm limited atonement because the Bible doesn't teach it. I'm sorry. It's a necessary outcome of Calvinist theology being consistent. And I think it undermines the whole thing. Because even though I don't care that much about church councils per se, they said, I think the Council of Orange condemned it, that God's intention for the atonement was universal. Limited atonement is so stupid because what it leads to is dumb things that James White has said, which is tainted classical Reformed theology that doesn't necessarily affirm limited atonement. Why? What does that lead to? Well, let me tell you something. Husbands out there, you can disagree and that's fine. I just will never agree with you that if your wife gets raped by a rapist, because look, the truth shall set you free. And I think that's a universal statement. What is true about God will set you free. And saying to your wife that God foreordained in a deterministic, necessary manner that your wife was raped, I don't think that's helpful to say, well, all to the glory of God, baby. When the rapist says, all is of God, baby, he is wrong. And I don't think you should tell people, oh, but God allowed it, so it's even worse. No, it isn't worse. You're worse. You're a fiend. You're obsessed. You're a pious fraud. Well, but if God didn't determine your wife to be raped and murdered, then don't you understand? It's for the greater glory of God. No, it isn't. You pervert. That's disgusting, bro. Shiz happens. God allows it, but he doesn't intend it. The glory that God will get on the last day is the destruction of the wickedness that he permitted, that he allowed, and it's not worse. Oh, if God doesn't determine every rape that ever happened, then he's I'm not in control. That is so dumb. That is a pious fraud, and shame on you. But he allows it. Yeah. That's the question. Why? How? Why does he need to allow it? Let's not take away the reason people will be rightly judged on the last day by claiming that they had to do the evil which they do. That's perverse and stupid. And it taints the nature of God. It taints the attributes of God and places evil within it, which is just not true. So God bless. Have a nice day. I still love you if you're a Calvinist. You're just ridiculous if you're a limited atonement and God determines all things that come to pass with specificity so that it couldn't be otherwise and must obtain. No. You pooped your pants. Didn't have to happen, but it did. When a child is assaulted, didn't have to happen. There's consequences. And people will be judged. Think about, if you're a Calvinist out there, think about what in the heck this is supposed to mean if you're right about divine determinism, exhaustive divine determinism. People are judged according to the light that they have. What does that even mean? If God determines all, that's so dumb. So dumb. God bless.